Hi everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to make super velvety smooth chicken breast. So this is more like a meal prep idea. So I'm going to teach you how to slice the chicken first. So I bought boneless chicken breast from the shop and I removed the skin, and at the same time I washed the chicken, right? So before we start cutting, there's certain technique to cut it. Like usually I tend to remove these side parts because they tend to have this connective tissue, which makes it quite hard to cut. Okay, so as you see here, there's chicken breast, right? This is chicken breast. There's two parts to it. Okay, there's this area and then this area, and when I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there's actually some strands right here that goes like this. So what we're going to do is that we are going to cut against the grain, so to make the meat more tender. So the first technique starts with cutting. So if it goes like this, right, so what we're going to do is that we're going to slice this way. So this is how I'm going to slice the pieces of chicken. So the first part is how do we cut the chicken. The second part is how do we marinate it. So the second process is that so what we're going to do now is that we are going to add a little bit of baking soda. So this is one of the secret to tenderize the chicken. So for this I just added about 1/4 teaspoon. And for cornstarch, I add about two or 2.5, totally up to you. But this is the range. I usually eyeball it. Sugar, I don't really add. I just add a bit, about a teaspoon of salt. And then I think this is more or less a teaspoon of sesame oil. So once we have all of this, and then we add egg white. So egg white is, I just like adding egg whites to make it even more tender. So oh man, there you go. Just go wash my hands. About, I know, marinate for 10 to 20 minutes. You just leave it in room temperature if you're cooking on the spot. So I've actually marinated it, froze it, and tried cooking it, but the results were not as good as doing it instantly. Oh, and I totally forgot, you can add pepper, optional. This is about, I don't know, it's just seasoning, so I just usually go about like 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. Yeah, that's it. So let's marinate it for 20 minutes and I'll get back to you. Okay, now we have boiling water, right? So we're gonna wait until the water comes to a rolling boil, and we're gonna lower the heat. We're gonna lower the heat to the lowest heat as possible, and we're gonna drop this one by one, the chicken that has been marinated. And the thing is that if you can start seeing the egg whites cooking. You don't want to boil them. So what happens is that if you start boiling them, the exterior will cook faster than the interior. Then we will have chicken that's very hard. It won't be as tender and moist, right? So So now we're just going to like swirl it around and around and around. Look at this, it looks very silky. It looks super silky. The reason is that when you start boiling it also, what happens is that all the egg whites start separating and then it start coming up. It starts forming foam and everything. So I just like to keep it very gentle. It's about a minute. So once this is done, looks about alright. So I mean, I just like to check it this way. So about, yeah, it's not even a minute, it's less than a minute. So once it's done, so I just like to once it's about 30 seconds or so. Chicken breast cooks about like at 65 degrees Celsius. So once we leave it here, the residual heat will start cooking it. So this is already good. So once you're done with this, right, this chicken you can keep it you can refrigerate this up to 3 to 4 days. So what I do is that I make sure I drain out all the liquid and then I leave it inside the container and leave it in the fridge. So whenever I want to cook something, like I want to make quick stir fry, I want to make fried rice, or I want to make a dish, so I just use this chicken. It's already there, you don't have to re-prep it, re-cook it again, and that's it. That's how you make a super smooth and silky chicken.